Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of our duotone wing and foiling tech talks. I'm Klaas and I'm standing here with Jeffrey Spencer today. Jeffrey's part of our Maui design team together with his brother, working on all our shapes. And today we're talking about a special board that we have in the lineup and that you guys been putting a lot of work in actually. It's probably not the board you ride every day, but it's a board that a lot of our customers make their first steps on. So that's the Sky Start, our dedicated learner board, and it's got completely refined for a 26 range. So Jeffrey, tell me, how did you get the input for this board and what are the features that learners are actually looking for?
Yeah, totally. This is a board we're super excited about. Put a lot of work into making it as easy as possible for beginners to start on. So it's a brand new shape. The biggest thing you'll probably notice is the volume of this board. Throughout asking people like Alan Cadiz and all his instructors, we really discovered that the volume is extremely helpful to beginners. The most important thing for when people have their first, second, third sessions on a wingboard is that they can stand up, stay balanced, and ride back and forth with the wing. So yeah, this thing's 170 liters, nice and stable, really like wide in the nose, wide in the tail, offers lots of stability for those beginner riders.
So the new Sky Start is quite a bit longer to the previous one. The previous one was a 6.7 with 155 liters. Now we have a 7.4, so a lot more length. And what we realized is length just helps in the stability.
Absolutely. Yeah, the length really provides that forward to back stability combined with the width and the wide nose and tail, and just the surface area overall really helps. And the other big benefit of the length is getting going for those beginner foilers that are on a big foil and they're not as consistent with getting speed. This really helps them get some forward momentum to get up on foil that first time.
So the width is very similar. They just got a lot longer. Now, making a board very long, isn't there a downside of taking off? What have you guys been doing?
So yeah, especially with a board this big, you can really feel it when you're on the water, and especially on the foil. Once you're up, you don't want to feel so much board. So we did do a lot of work on the bottom shape of this thing to give it
this over.
Good clearance. So that's the big step tail. This really cuts a lot of the surface area from the back, which is super necessary on a board this size. And it really gives you that feeling of being on a much shorter board when you try to get up on foil for the first time. And especially for beginners, it is extremely helpful for them to not stick to the water.
Yeah. This is something, I mean, when we did the testing, the final tests, this was actually the board we were most impressed with of the entire range.
Yeah, it's crazy the feeling that how easy it is to actually take off on something this big. You wouldn't really expect it, but it works very well.
Yeah, basically the feeling I described to when my colleagues asked me, so how's the new Start? I told them, well, you hardly feel the transition of being on the surface and then gradually taking off. You don't have to do much because of that step tail and that easy release. It's very easy to angle the foil to lift off, and then with a combination of our aero lift foil or the bigger free foils, it's just a gradual, very easy and super stable takeoff. And that was, for me, was the most impressive, the transition from going and then actually taking off and being so stable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great feeling, and we've also worked on the bottom shape to really give it that efficiency at that low speeds that most beginner foilers are at in that time in their winging journey. So yeah, just the bottom shape combined with the step tail makes it really easy to get up and going. And yeah, we've gotten good feedback so far from the instructors working with Alan. They say it's their favorite board to test on. So
great. So now a feature that we don't see on this board is we don't have a full EVA pad cover anymore. Reason being, obviously going pretty big. We're adding a lot of pad, adding a lot of weight, and for a lot of learners, carrying the stuff to the water when you have a huge board is also a thing. So we wanted to keep the weight down. One thing that you don't see on this board is actually we're coming with a new construction, completely new construction. This board is still a proto, but the final board will have like a top sheet construction, which is really bomb-proof, really scratch and ding resistant, and keeps the weight to somewhat similar to the previous construction, but just really bombers. So we wanted to make sure these boards really last a long time in the schools. They're dragged around by learners, And this is one thing. We could have just gradually added layers and layers and layers, but ultimately this top sheet construction, which we call Dura sheet technology, is something we thought is the right thing for the Sky Start.
Absolutely.
So talking about deck pad, one feature that we added is we have this visual reference here for the center line, and something that we have just a little bit on this proto, but on the final board we also have visual lines in that same color along where the foot straps would normally be, so where your perfect stance is. So the student can really find the right places for the feet, for the start, and have an easy time to get in the right position. All right, guys, thanks a lot, Jeffrey. I think this is going to be a really good learner weapon. Anyone who wants to get into wing foiling, this is your easiest ticket, obviously combined with the lift foils. And if you have any more questions, leave us some comments below the video and leave us a like if you like this content, and I hope to see you in one of the next episodes.